Hello and welcome back to this very awkward scene. I don't really want to think about it too much. And I'm having a bit of a sore throat problem lately. So if my voice cracks unintentionally, that's probably a result of that. I'm just warning you now. The camp leader wasn't able to finish as Oyana rushed out from the pioneer crowd and dived into the cake. She managed to nibble a few times before she was pulled away. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from outside at all this drama, Elisa smiling, Lana picking up some of the cream with her finger, all the furious pioneers around. I felt completely out of place here, though. I thought that if I closed my eyes now and opened them again, here I am, back to the safety of my apartment in front of a computer. Okay. I blinked, but nothing changed, only the noise and confusion became sharper. Oh, Yana, that's a limit. Well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top, well, even for her. Did the sound break on me? Sound might have broken on me. Okay, sound isn't broken anymore. Shirk broke into the conversation. Or is it a court-martial? Please, Olga. Since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. It doesn't matter. The camp leader turned to Oyana. And you! Today I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent, so you'll behave next time. Whatever. She snorted and turned back. You won't be going on the hike with us tonight. As if I wanted to. I was more than willing to switch places with Oyana and skip the hike instead of her, but who knew? If I had guessed beforehand, I'd have been the first one to go berserk and smash the damn cake. Maybe that was Oyana's plan all along. After a couple minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. You have to get ready too. There'll be a lineup in the square in half an hour. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my attitude non-verbally, but it seems I failed. Miserably. Don't be late. Yana was sitting at the table when I approached her on my way to the exit. So, why did you do it? She looked very upset. She had a right to be so. I wanted to. Oyana replied abruptly. So you're happy now? Of course. Don't blush at that. Don't blush at the thought of you jumping and eating a cake. And you, good luck with the hiking. She smiled mischievously, sprang up and rushed out of the canteen. Oh, so this is going to be like one of those tests of courages, I bet, where she just tries to scare us the entire time. She smiled mischievously, sprang out, rushed out of the canteen. Well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. Oh, luck with what, though? Walk and you shall reach is exactly what this proverb that kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow, I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or just skip it without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness, and the general brainwashing that seems to have been happening. Although sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed a sweater that I had on me when I'd arrived at camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. All the camp was already there, though it was about 10 minutes before Olga had designated. I settled down near the edge and waited patiently. Night was falling. If viewed from the outside, what a fairly comical picture it would make. A crowd of pioneers lined up out of sheer habit, like they were awaiting a silent command from the bronze Genda. And don't worry, Semyon, you're basically becoming one of them, slowly but surely. And all this happening because of the scarlet rays of the sunset. And there he is, waving his hand, screaming attack as roaring soldiers with red neckerchiefs charge into the battle against some ghostly enemy. But Olga showed up and started to talk instead of Genda. It seems everybody is here. Okay, hopefully all the stupid, lagging, random shit ended with that fix. Same fix as last time this happened. Sort of weird, it keeps popping up during this, but nothing else, but okay. It seems everyone is here. Great. I was so tired today that I couldn't even think about anything, so I just ended up listening to the camp leader. Now, today we'll go hiking. It is essential for every pioneer to be able to come and rescue his comrade, to offer a helping hand in the hour of need, saving them from a hopeless situation. We have to learn to do these things together. A whisper ran through the pioneer crowd, suggesting that most probably this truly epic expedition would end in a clearing in the forest, several hundred feet away from the square. Somehow I thought so too. We'll walk in pairs, so if you haven't chosen a partner for yourself yet, now's the time to do so. Pioneers quickly caught on to the idea and started to match in pairs. It looks like I was the only one without a partner because everyone dislikes me, apparently. Slavia was enthusiastically discussing something with Olga, Lena was with Miku, Electronic was, well, with Shurik. Might not be a bad idea to go alone after all. Semyon, the voice of the camp leader, pulled me out of my thoughts. I went up to her reluctantly. I see you haven't found a partner. Seems like it. Then you joined Zhenya. She is alone too. I was struck with that special kind of despair that only a true loner can experience. So it appears that I'm left with the pricky librarian that wouldn't risk spending a couple hours even if I was paid for it. Though we both seem to be in the same boat now. I slowly approached Zhenya. Well, I guess we'll be going together. She looked up at me. Don't even think that I'm glad, said Zhenya seriously. Why on earth should you feel glad? I asked naively. Never mind. It'd be much better if you just shut up. Yeah, it couldn't get any better than this. She turned her back on me and followed the other pioneers. I still haven't seen any special reason to walk in pairs. Anyway, we were walking in the well-trodden forest trails, and it would be quite difficult to get lost here even if we wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing to the depths of the forest quite yet, trying to face all the dangers that we could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits, but instead we were just walking around in circles. However, we take into account that Olga was our chief, this hike could be compared to the Hobbit's march from the Shire to Mordor. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan. Actually, I'm not really a Lord of the Rings fan at all, but I get that. Just as Zhenya insisted, I was following her at a distance in silence. The librarian seemed to be perfectly okay with it. Hey, don't you know when we'll reach our destination? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are what? Are we there yet? The place we'll settle down and set up camp. The whole point of this hike isn't to set up camp, but the hiking itself. You don't get it. Yeah, it seems I don't understand a thing about hiking. I guess you're right, but still. I don't know. She replied sharply and quickened her pace. I caught up with her and asked, Listen, why are you always so... I was about to say mean, but stopped short. I say abrasive. Abrasive's a perfect word to phrase it. I mean, it might be a little offensive, but it's accurate, and it's, like, not... It doesn't have as many connotations, negative connotations as mean. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. Always so... What? Well, unsociable. Kind of. Or is it just something about me? Oh, cut that stupidity out already. As you wish. I decided not to start a conversation for her with the rest of the hike. You know, she never really struck me as unsociable or really mean in the earlier sessions. I mean, she yelled at me a few times, but that's about the extent that I can remember of that. At last, Olga decided to end this Sisyphean toil. Whatever the hell that is. It's time to halt. The place chosen turned out to be quite a large glade with a few tree trunks laid in a half circle to make an improvised arbor with the remains of the campfire in the middle. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. I was sent to gather firewood with the rest of the boys. It didn't take long because there was a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. Eventually, Olga lit the fire under some newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there, but I couldn't discern anything other than Soviet symbols. Pioneers took their places on fallen log benches and started to talk about things. It seems that the final goal of this event had been achieved. The only things missing were a pot of fish soup, aluminum cups of vodka, and a guitar. I don't get that reference either. But I wouldn't be surprised if all this were to appear somehow. What are you thinking about? Slavia sat next to me. Oh, nothing special. Just enjoying the hike, I guess. I answered sarcastically. You don't look too happy. Well, I'm not about to jump for joy, sorry about that. Okay, I won't disturb you. She sat with me there for a while, but after realizing that I wasn't in the mood for talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. And, all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible, but I was being surrounded by smoke and useless chatter of pioneers around me instead. They're cheering and laughing and in general just enjoying the warm summer evening. On the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Elisa intensely. Well, intensely, and Lena seemed to be complete opposites to me. Slavia had left to go somewhere after our conversation, it seems. Electronic and Shirk were trying to fiercely prove something to Olga. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. Do nothing, just stay. Honestly. I don't know. I get caught up in the bullshit so often. Just so regularly. I just get caught up in bullshit constantly. I just, I want to stay seated. If I go here, I'm going to get caught up in something else. I'm going to never be able to find out any answers because they're not going to give me answers. I figured that out from the past, 5 days here. Interacting with these people don't give answers. They just pull me in more and brainwash Semyon more. Do nothing, just stay seated. All I was doing was just watching the fire. There's a saying that claims that one could watch it forever, as well as running water. But there's also some third thing there. What was that? One could watch 3 things forever: burning fire, running water, and how other people work. The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Semyon, don't you think it's a bit too early to relax? Never too early to relax. But what else would I need to do? I honestly get what Olga wanted from me. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. Oh, fuck you. She smiled ambiguously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on. After those words, I'm completely sure that she treats me like a personal slave, and she wants to, train me to be a good slave. Or at least, I'm a free labor force, which strictly speaking is the same thing here. I sighed and put my head down on my hands, hoping my torments would be over for today. Someone patted me on the shoulder. I looked up and saw Shirk and Electronic, who sat next to me. What do you want? I asked tiredly. Don't be sad. Is there anything better to do? Look, we've been discussing the possibilities of advancement in Cybernetics Club with Olga. There's a problem. We need more guys. If you could... He hesitated. Advancement and those guys are incompatible with each other. I said nothing and started to look over at the pioneers around me instead. Well, I don't have time. Can't you see I'm always busy with the camp leader's errands? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's kind of embarrassing how it all went with Yana today. I looked at him with surprise. Seems that Shirk blames himself for that cake accident. Yeah, it is. All the pioneers here seem to be here, but I couldn't spot Slavia anywhere. I think she is angry with me. Who? I asked absently. Oh, Yana. Maybe I should apologize? No, it's not your fault. We sat silently for a while and stood up and said, my legs are numb. I better take a walk. They made no reply. I made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the close looks of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga couldn't wait to come up with some new kind of task for me. Oh, beautiful. And I still haven't found Slavia anywhere. Maybe I should go and try find her? On the other hand, I felt sorry for even Oyana every time I recalled her upset face. Oh, maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. I don't know. I'm just so unmotivated. Semyon has just seemed like so out of it. If I was Semyon here, I'd probably just go and like sleep on a log or something. He's talking about how tired he is. Definitely not going to Oyana. She can burn for all I care. Maybe? It is a bit odd that she disappeared. But then again, if I go find her, it'll probably be nothing again. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If it hollers, let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay. I guess I'll go to try it. I'll try to find Slavia. I'm really interested in where Slavia has gone. Well, vaguely. Though I also wanted to leave this place as fast as possible, and if not totally, and not, if not to finally lie down to sleep, then at least spend some time alone away from all the pioneers at Olga, who just couldn't wait to occupy me with something again. I picked a good moment and fled into the forest. Night had fallen onto the camp. An absolutely normal and unremarkable night. One of the nights with the dark sky, stars, or crescent moon didn't trigger any special emotions, when the crickets chirping and the singing of the night birds seemed more like an everyday routine than a natural chorus. I wandered around the forest with no special purpose, trying not to get too far from the camp. After all, there was a chance to meet Uyana out here, and that natural disaster would probably be even worse than the camp leader. I sat down on the fallen tree and started thinking. Why is this all happening to me? Why do I keep getting myself into foolish situations every time and everywhere? Even having suddenly appeared in a weird pioneer camp in the middle of nowhere, I don't get to be a subject in an experiment, victim of sick cosmic minds, or participant in an intergalactic war on the side of a group of suicide-prone pacifists, like a regular hero of science fiction. Those are some references that I sort of get, maybe? Probably not. No, I get to hide in a night forest from a raving camp leader and her workhorse pioneers. The stars in the sky were shining brightly. Perhaps they give their light not only to me in this camp, but also shine onto the city where I was born, where my old home is. It was as if pain settled in my chest. I envisioned my old flat clearly. A detestable burning started making its way from my stomach to my throat. No, it was not wistfulness, more like sad reminiscence. Because despite all that's happened, I felt more alive in less than 5 days here than I have for the last several years there. Now, I guess I really wasn't sure if I wanted to get back. Only one question still ate at me: how and why I ended up here. Flared up yet again in my mind. I haven't spent much time seeking answers or even just thinking about the situation lately. My thoughts were occupied with everyday routine affairs. Now, in order to break away and be able to wish to stay here for good, I need to understand the nature of the place. It's just that even a nightingale in a golden cage has a right to know how and by whose will he got there. And after that, to make the choice whether or not to stay. Probably I would have been lost in my existential thoughts for a long time, but I heard voices approaching. Olga and the pioneers. Looks like they're proceeding with their hike. I headed to the camp at a fast pace. I have no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin, because I would surely just be scolded. Just waiting for it is much worse. Soon enough I arrived at the beach. I wasn't here alone. A pioneer uniform was lying in the sand. A girl's one. But no one seemed to be swimming in the water. Oh no. Oh no. Who's it gonna be? I almost thought it was some new devilry when suddenly a voice came from behind. Skipping around on the hike? Oh, thank goodness, I was afraid it was going to be Oyana. I thought you were still in the woods. I turned around and saw Slavia in a bikini. Oh, sorry, I guess I interrupted you. That's okay, I'm almost done. Why did you decide to have a swim during the night? Oh, well, is it prohibited? Oh, I thought you were supposed to be part of the hike, but okay. She smiled. Well, no, it's just... Won't Olga mind you leaving early? But you did the same. Yeah, but I'm not like her... Oh, fuck. I was gonna say I'm not her errand boy, like... You're like her right hand. But I am her errand boy, aren't I? I am. Fuck. Slavia gave me a quick glance. Yeah, I did. I sat down on the sand and stared at the river. You didn't like the hike, did you? No, it's not that. I just wanted to be alone for some time. And I've interrupted you. Well, no, not really. That's not like you at all. What are you talking about? Well, to leave like that. Well, I'm not a robot that can only act according to a predefined program. Are you? Are you? I don't know. Maybe this is just like some experiment and everyone's robots. And Electronic and Sure made all the robots. And all the girls are just robots. No. Because they were making that robot earlier, I mean. She laughed. Yeah, that's right. I was still puzzled, and my fatigue was also becoming stronger and stronger. My mind was absolutely blank. To be precise, it was so heavy and full that not even a single idea would have had the chance to dwell there. If I were to compare my brain at its prime to a broad highway full of speeding thoughts overtaking each other and causing giant chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in a distant, desolate forest, which only used in times that it's absolutely necessary. So I said the first thing that crossed my mind. Don't you think it's all pretty strange here? Strange? Just everything that happens here. It's the ideal model of a pioneer camp. Of course, it's not like I know a lot about them, but it looks exactly like I imagined it. What are you talking about? Slavia glanced at me perplexedly. Do you ever feel like you're not where you belong? I don't know. More precisely, not where you're meant to be at all. I mean, as if thousands of kilometers away from home, or even in another galaxy. I don't understand you. We're similar in this. I lay down on my back and look at the stars. And what would you do, or what would you think if I told you I'm an alien from the future? Are you? Asked Slavia in dead earnest. Well, let's assume I am. How should I return to my time? Do you really want to? Yeah, all the conversations with her have to do with my situation. Even the slightest hints of it always end up at the same place. It's like she's offering me a chance to stay. Almost insisting on it. Well, let's say I'm not sure. There, as we could call it, everything is like home to me. Or rather, more familiar. Practically everything is known to me, and I'm prepared for any situation. And here it's the other way around. Literally every little thing comes as a surprise, and everything's different. Is it really that bad? I wouldn't call it bad, just unfamiliar, unclear. Sometimes it can be hard to change something, especially for people with my personality. But what do you really want? Well, to start with, I can't answer the question until I find out exactly where here is. Then go and find out. Ah, if only it was that easy. What's so difficult about it? Everything's difficult. I don't even know where to start. And I'm constantly being distracted. You're talking about it so seriously. It's almost like it's all real. Of course it's real, Slavia. She laughed. Who knows? A pretty long silence followed. Suddenly, Slavia sneezed. Bless you. Thanks. Well, it's not a good idea to swim at night. You could get ill. Hurry to your cabin. It's cold out here. Oh, it's nothing. I'd rather sit with you here a bit more. Now, just let me dress. Well, I was certainly flattered, but... Let's go. I'll walk you. But we didn't even walk a dozen steps before Slavia grasped my arm. What's the matter? Oh, I suddenly felt dizzy. Why do you seem so... mad? I touched her forehead. It was burning. I was never able to measure body temperature by touch, but in this case it was obvious. Oh, I told you! Oh, come on, come on. No, I could have, in fact, Senya. Listen, we better go to the infirmary. What would you do in the infirmary at night alone? That's nonsense. No, it's not nonsense. If you don't want to help, I'll go by myself. She let go of my hand and was ready to leave. She just looked awfully mad at me during this whole conversation. It was really weird. and very not like their normal conversations that we've had. Don't get upset. I'll put this on, it's cold. I handed her over my sweater, which I brought with me on the hike. Finally found some use of it, good boy. Thanks. She pulled the sweater on and gave me such a tender and caring look that I just couldn't argue with her anymore. Okay, fine, to the infirmary it is, as you say. 5 minutes later, we were standing by the infirmary and Slavia was picking out the right key. I still considered the idea quite foolish. Nobody ever died from the common cold. At least, not in the past century. I couldn't see any good reason to spend the night in the infirmary. Finally, Slavia opened the door and leaned on my arm. I'm still a bit dizzy, she said guiltily. Slavia landed on the bed. I sat on a chair nearby. Still, listen, alone for the whole night in the infirmary? After all, at least Zhenya could get you a glass of water if you needed one. She wouldn't catch the illness. She's young and strong. It's alright. I don't want to bother anyone, and the nurse will come tomorrow. I suddenly imagined myself in Slavia's place. Imagined that I had spent the whole night here alone. And shivers ran down my spine. Okay, listen, maybe I could stay with you for a while. I owed a lot to Slavia. And in fact, I didn't even want to leave. What for? Everything will be fine. Thanks for walking me over. You should go and get some sleep. I still think it's fine. For a moment I thought, of course, nothing terrible will happen to her here. But I myself would feel more relaxed if I stayed with her. I think... Oh, come on! Slavia cried out as if offended. You won't throw me out, will you? I smiled slyly. Alright, but if you get infected, you'll only have yourself to blame. I was happy with my little victory. Okay, what shall we do then? There should be some playing cards in the chest. Durek? In fact, I didn't know any other games except that one in poker. Okay. We spent a lot of time playing cards. I completely lost track of time. We chatted, laughed a bit, laughed a lot. Slavia didn't seem ill at all. Then midnight came. Time to sleep. Probably. But where are you going to go? She gazed at me. Oh, come on. You shouldn't be sitting here with me. I can do it anyway. At the moment, I could even fall asleep standing up. Slavia watched me for some time, then drew the curtain and said, Good night. Night. I lowered my head on my arms and fell asleep in an instant. Despite being exhausted, I slept uneasily. It was more of a slumber. My awareness kept leaving me and returning again. The best possible state for dreaming seemed psychedelic. Bus number 410 drove past the room. It was snowing from the ceiling. My computer's monitor suddenly rose from the middle of the table. Wallpaper blended through the walls. Rubbish piles rose to the floor and my old bed materialized out of the corner. I was in my old flat again. The scenery changed to that of my hometown. It was like I was running through the endless hordes of people, bustling in and out, and then darkness fell on me. Primal, universal darkness. I jumped in terror. It was like sweating in a river, Slavia was looking at me worriedly from the bed. Just a bad dream. Nothing to worry about. I attempted to smile. You were screaming. Screaming what? I don't know. It was incomprehensible. The clock only displayed, 12:30. Semyon? Huh? I'm freezing. Slavia is rubbing the arms of her sweater, shivering. Hang on, I'll find a blanket. I searched through the one cabinet after another, swearing to myself how the damn infirmary had nothing to cover the patients. I'm sorry, there's nothing here. Wait, I'll run and fetch something. You don't have to. Would you just lie here with me? It'll be much warmer. Oh, this is getting into weird time. She was absolutely serious. Oh my goodness, her voice sounded so piteous that for a second I was left breathless. Are you sure? I mean, is it okay? So it's not? She asked, blushing. No, why? I slowly took off my shoes and lay down at the very edge of the couch, trying to occupy as little space as possible, trying to shrink and stop breathing. Slavia gently embraced me and rested her head on my chest. Yeah, that's better, she purred. I was unable to say anything and just lay there calmly. Very good. Thank you. For what? Slavia kept her eyes closed and seemed ready to fall asleep any second. For being here. It's fine. 2 minutes ago, she was desperately trying to get rid of me. No, really. Well, then you're welcome. She said nothing, but I was sure that Slavia smiled. Contact us anytime, as they say. You're so kind. You care so much. Well, I try. You're a good friend. Friend? Well, yeah, probably. But you probably wouldn't ask me to sit down on the bed and embrace together if I was just a friend, now would you? That would be a bit weird for a guy. For you to do that with... friend, well, yeah, probably. Somehow this word hit me painfully. On the other hand, there's no reason to believe that I was something more to Slavia than just a friend. But what are these thoughts about anyway? You too. I couldn't bring myself to find the right words. What's up with you two? It's been a pleasure dealing with you. We hope for further mutually beneficial cooperation. Or yeah, it's cool being friends with you too. Let's go and play in sandbox. This was twice as hard to endure as Slavia's lying right next to me. I can't run, I can't hide, I can't even look at her with and even without her looking me in the eyes, I know that she sees right through me. You're distressed by something, aren't you? Well, maybe the fact that you just called me, like, you threw me in the friend zone right now. That seems pretty distressing for a guy who has a crush on someone. Oh yeah, and Semyon obviously has a crush on her. No, I'm fine. But I can tell that you are. Well, maybe. What do you want to talk about it? Well, not really. In fact, there's nothing really to talk about. Then you don't really know why you're upset? Yeah, probably. Then why get upset in the first place? Slavia laughed. I guess I shouldn't. That's great. She hugged me even harder. Not cold now? I'm fine, just tell me if you're not comfortable. No, it's okay. Like that time on the boat? My muscles, as if remembering the rowing competition, reminded me of it with a dull ache. Wasn't that today? That was today. It's totally different. Okay. She said slyly and raised her head a bit. So, everything is fine? Oh, yeah, just perfect. Absolutely amazing. I mean, look at his hand there. That looks like the most comfortable position you could put your hand in. Just, like, it doesn't even look like it's laying on anything. It looks like it's sticking up. I started to worry, as Slavia surely wanted something from me. Wanted me to do or say something. But what? Are you sure? Yeah, probably. Well then, have a good night. You too. After a while, she fell asleep. I checked the clock out of the corner of my eye. It was only 1 a.m., which meant I still had to lie in this position until morning. I wasn't really concerned about my arm going numb. So, just being close to Slavia, such a dangerous proximity, I couldn't sleep at all. Various thoughts were invading my head. Did she really consider this whole situation normal? No way. Not in a game like this. How did you even notice someone was in here? Or were you looking for me? I mean, you might have been looking for me. Just when I was thinking how bad it would be if anyone found us, the door opened and the light switched on and Olga rushed in. My heart jumped and stopped for a moment. Semyon? I started the camp leader in a diabolically calm voice. I've been searching for you everywhere, and you escaped from the forest ahead of time, didn't come to the cabin to sleep, and now you're seducing our best pioneer. Slavia instantly woke up. She was staring at the camp leader with sleepy eyes for a few seconds, and then instantly understood what's going on and jumped from the bed. Olga, it's not what you think. I just fell ill and Semyon walked me here. And then I got cold and I told him to go to his cabin. Oh yeah, sure, so you're sick, are you? I am, answered Slavia humbly. Then you have to get treatment. She watched me menacingly. And you, Get up and follow me. I understood that arguing was not an option and left the infirmary, not even looking at Slavia. We reached the square without saying a word. Olga viciously looked over at me and said, "Time to go home. I need to have a serious talk with you." "Do you now? Okay." I felt awful the whole way. The camp leader silently followed me. I think that once again I've gotten into a stupid situation that will be perceived totally wrong by everybody. Nothing to discuss. What if I were in Olga's place? 2 teenagers cuddling in an empty infirmary at night. It's hard to come up with any apologies. The worst thing is that all these things happened specifically to me, of course. I always considered myself to have an analytical mind, however, I rarely got to put it into practice. We entered the cabin and camp leader continued the interrogation. "And would you care to explain yourself?" She seemed to have calmed down a bit. At least this side of her character was appealing. She was, of course, an impulsive woman, but she cooled down quickly. Slavia told you everything." "You expect me to believe that?" "I can't force you to believe it, but I'm not going to invent any excuses either, because it's the truth." She looked at me for some time and then said, "Tomorrow I'll decide what to do with you." The camp leader turned off the lights, and I rolled myself into the blanket, not even bothering to undress, and turned to face the wall. Interesting, but why does she blame only me for what happened? I wasn't there alone, after all. Slavia is a role model pioneer, of course, but no, I didn't intend to shift my blame to her. I just felt too ashamed for getting into an idiotic situation once again. Involuntarily, with no malicious thoughts, not expecting any trap. I could have lay there pitying myself for a long time, but fatigue overtook me, and I blanked out. Day 6 with the big Slavia thing on there, apparently. So it seems. I'm guessing that means I'm locked into Slavia's path. I can't imagine anything else. I didn't sleep well. I kept walking for a minute or two and then waking for a minute or two, then dropping off again. I didn't dream much, just some grotesque images forgotten by morning. Olga woke me up. "Wake up already!" I rubbed my eyes open and looked at her questioningly. What time is it? Late enough. My whole body ached and my head was heavy like a bowling ball. "Pull yourself together and go wash yourself right now." Fine. I stood up obediently, took my toiletry bag and went outside. I didn't want to talk to the camp leader at the moment. A lecture was clearly coming. A hard one. But I'd better put it off as much as I can. After all, I always did things this way. Procrastination, laziness, running away, trying not to fall asleep on my feet. I somehow made it to the wash basins. The cold water knocked some sense into me. Maybe I should pay Slavia a visit. I still have some time left. Just tell her I'm sorry. On the other hand, why should I justify myself? It's her idea. And what? What did I do wrong? Besides, once again, getting myself into a silly situation where the odds are against me? I took a deep breath and went back to Olga's cabin with the firm intention of proving myself innocent, or at least showing that I will stand my ground. But the room was empty. I sat on the bed and dropped my face in my hands. I need to come up with an excuse now. A nice and probably believable excuse, preferably. She won't believe the truth. Well, that's not surprising. If I was her, I wouldn't have believed it either. Nothing worthwhile was coming to me. I was just sitting there, gazing at the sunrise. The door swung open silently, and the camp leader came into the room. "Olga, I'd so like to explain to you that..." "No need." I looked at her surprised. "I understand everything." "So you understand it wasn't what it looked like?" "Oh, why? It looked exactly like what it was." "I don't want to condemn either you or Slavia. I understand everything. Puberty, hormones, all that kind of stuff." I sighed tiredly and laid my head down on my hands. "What do I need to say to make you believe me?" "Nothing. Like I said it already. I understand everything." "You don't understand a thing." I muttered under my breath. "Okay, head over to lineup." I stood up and dragged myself lazily along with her. But could I at least pay her a visit? Of course not. The camp leader looked at me with such surprise as if my question was something completely inappropriate. I already warned the nurse not to let you in. Well, am I allowed to know how she is at least? Well, it looks like Slavia is actually sick. Shocking, the weird things that happen when, the excuse turns out to be real. I didn't manage to ask how serious it was as we reached the square already. Go and take your place. I have a place? I took a place next to electronic. So what happened yesterday? He whispered to me. What are you talking about? Well, you suddenly disappeared. Nothing special. Telling everything to the entire camp was the last thing I wanted. After all, even if the camp leader got us wrong, then what would the others think? Though I've already started to think that's not entirely wrong. The entire lineup consisted of a roll call and announcement that the shower room is closed today for repair. Shower room? We have a shower room? Finally, the pioneers ran for breakfast, chatting happily. I miserably followed them. Frankly speaking, I wasn't in the mood for eating at all. After hanging around near the canteen doors for a while, I turned around and headed away. I don't know how it turned out this way, but eventually the infirmary appeared to be, from nowhere in front of me. Looks like my autopilot just kicked in. I stared at the door at a total loss. They won't let me in anyways. What can I do now? Should I wait for Olga's sentence, if it ever comes? Should I wait until everybody in the camp knows? That's even worse. Wicked glances from everywhere, the alienation. That is what will happen for sure. No, I haven't done anything wrong, but in the enclosed circle of this bizarre society, such behavior would be treated, if not as a sin, then as a serious deviation for sure. And that means I've already got nothing to lose. I knocked without hesitation. Just a moment. I pulled the doorknob, but the door wouldn't open. It's locked. In a few moments, I heard the key turning in the keyhole, and the nurse appeared. Oh, good morning, Pioneer. Hi, I answered confidently. Well, you're not allowed in here, correct? Well, I do. But if you... Nah, that's not the way things work, she said playfully. A camp leader's order is an order, after all. If you ask me, personally, I don't find anything immoral in your behavior, but... Olga... Maybe I can do something... No, you can't. I looked at her angrily, turned around and walked away in theatrical slowness. I didn't know what to do next. I don't really know what I had planned there. I just sort of knocked on the door and said, hey, can I come in? I'd somehow expected it to work. I just pressed on forward, punching the trees that stood in my way. Hopefully literally punching the trees, because that would be a fun sight. I recovered from this burst of rage only when my hands were hurt badly and my lips were bitten until they bled. You actually fucking went and punched the trees, Semyon. Bravo. Freaking O. And the most interesting thing is that all my unbelievable awakening in an unknown pioneer camp has turned into the most trivial life drama. A drama as stupid as my entire existence. Yet again, I did something wrong. I thought something wrong. They got it all wrong. Fine then. Just let everything be. Nobody was near the canteen. I sighed in relief and took a place at the farthest corner, hoping that nobody would see me. Somehow, stuffing my breakfast in, I was about to leave when Miku dashed up to the table. Oh, good morning, Semyon. I kind of overslept today. Can I take a place next to you? She sat down straight away. Oh, I'm kind of leaving already. Is it true that you and Slavia are like that? Well, you know what I'm talking about. She stared at me closely, blinking her eyes. Who told you that? Well, one would expect the rumors to spread fast, but not that fast. I started to slowly go into rage mode. I heard it from Xenia, and she probably heard it from Shizakov, and she heard it from Olga, and... Well, I don't want you to misunderstand me. It's not my business, but if you don't want to, then don't answer, but if it's not a secret... You're right. I don't want to answer. I stood up quickly and headed towards the exit. It was a hot day. That amplified my anger since I don't like the heat. Right now, though, anything could drive me out of my wits. But I had to make up my mind on how to conduct myself now. I didn't want to run into anyone, so I went to the forest where I could think calmly. Having stopped in a glade, presumably the same glade as before, I sat in a stump, took a stick, and started to pick at the ground with it. There's nothing that's up to me. All I can do is simply wait. But, in fact, what can I do? Assault the infirmary? Even if I succeed, what comes next? Try to bring Olga to her senses? Hardly possible. Funnily enough, the whole enigma turned into a simply everyday situation. If it was happening in my world, then it would be no problem at all. Come on, what's the problem? Even if I did sleep with the girl, who cares? Even if I was actually 17, even then nothing terrible would happen anyways. It would be slightly more awkward, but still tolerable. And now what? I'm not the master of my own fate. Although, I guess, was I ever? Is there anything at all that was up to me in my entire life? Have I ever reached any peak that I was seeking? And now, once I've reached one, I can't hold my ground. Maybe I was just a spectator from the very beginning. My mystical appearance in this camp, all the local residents, all the events that happened to me. All that was just a weird game, and I'm only a pawn. Well, if that is so, I still have to play out my role to my best. I got up and headed to the camp, prepared to take no prisoners. The plan wasn't completely finished in my head, but I've made up my mind already. There was no one at the camp leader's cabin. I rummaged through the cabinets and packed a sleeping bag, my winter clothes, a flashlight, some other garments I found. I came out and immediately ran straight into Elisa. Going for a hike? Yeah, for a hike. That sounds right, doesn't it? I reassured her. Well, take care. She gave me a sly smile and went on her way. I hastened my steps to the infirmary. The nurse is a human too in the end, so eventually she will go to lunch. I hid in the bushes waiting. Time flew by fast. My thoughts have settled, and I had a firm decision. I haven't thought out my plan beyond the first steps, so I simply didn't care. The most important thing is that I act in the way that I think is most appropriate. Whatever happens next, let it happen. At last, the nurse came out of the infirmary. She looked around and, noticing no danger, locked the infirmary with a key and quickly went to the canteen. As she went around the corner, I got to the window a few bounds and started to hectically knock on it. Slavia showed up soon. Semyon, what are you doing here? You're not allowed to. How are you feeling? It's fine. I'm fine, but Olga told me to stay here for another day. She told me something completely different. Okay, get out. I said with confidence. What are you talking about? What for? She asked fearfully. Get out now. I'll explain everything later. She looked at me closely for a while, but then opened the window without further argument. I helped her jump down to the grounds. Okay, what next? Let's go. I grabbed her hand and made way for the forest. Slavia stopped a few minutes later. Semyon, just what are we doing? What's wrong? Did you think that everything was right the way it was? No, I don't, but it'll be even worse this way. Why? We have the right to act the way we think is correct. Okay, but what will happen next? I haven't really thought about it yet. Every step in my plan had gone quite well until now, but I wasn't really thinking even one step ahead. Take a look. I opened the bag and showed things I took from the camp leader's cabin. And Slavia looked at me inquiringly. I don't know. We'll stay in the forest for a while. Show them that our opinion matters. That's such a bad plan, Semyon. That's horrible. That is like the worst plan. But that's stupid and childish. Well, let's emphasize the stupid part. That's moronic and childish. That's idiotic and childish. That's just brain dead and childish. You, Semyon, this is like the stupidest plan. Well, if you don't want to. She gave me a lamentable look. I'll do as you say. Why? 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 Those words gave me the creeps. As you say. Nobody ever said anything like that to me. In any case, I think this is the best decision for now. Alright. I laid the sleeping bag on the ground and we sat on it. So what are we going to do? I don't know. I've never been so close to utter failure. No, I wasn't questioning my choice, but indeed, I had no idea what to do next. So, what would you suggest? It would be nice to have something to eat. Have you brought anything with you? Maybe? And that was exactly what I'd forgotten. No, I have not. That's the only thing I didn't bring, apparently, Slavia, because I'm a dumb idiot who had a stupid plan and decided to not even fulfill that plan intelligently. Shocking. I replied slowly. Oh, that's fine. We kept sitting in silence. I wonder if they'll look for us. Though, even if they do, they are unlikely to succeed. The forest is big enough. But food? By the evening, I'll be hungry too. Okay, stay here. I'll be right back. Where are you going? To get some food. Maybe we should go together. No, I'll be right back. I headed back to the camp at a rapid pace, leaving Slavia alone in the glade. Okay, good idea. This totally can't go badly. I'm absolutely certain she won't go anywhere and will wait for me. Yeah, that sounds like something you should be certain of. I wish I was as certain that I'll remember the way back as well. Oh my goodness, Semyon. Did you just lead her into the forest? She probably doesn't know the way she came because you led her there. Oh my goodness. Does she know the way back? Oh my goodness. Even if they hadn't started to look for both of us, yes, they'll surely have found out that Slavia is missing, so I'll have to move carefully and try not to get noticed. In general, ever seeing a pioneer is a real threat now. Not only those who knew me, but such an obvious kidnapping will surely be known to everyone in no time. I don't think it's a kidnapping by this definition. While getting to the canteen in a few sprints was not hard at all, I have no idea what to do next. I can't just walk in there like nothing happened. Are you hiding there? I almost jumped out of my skin. Oyana was standing behind me. Getting hungry? She stared at me. Oh, come on, why so quiet? I was tongue-tied for a moment and really couldn't think of an answer. So why have you come? She hates me, I hate her, I assume, so does she hate Slavia? I went to get something for Slavia. Oh, really? Yeah, really. Okay, I'll be right back. Much to my surprise, Oyana didn't ask any awkward questions. In the blink of an eye, she zipped out of sight and through the door to the canteen. I was wondering whether I should trust her or wait, or I should flee before she returned with backup. However, Oyana interrupted my doubts quickly and reappeared in a couple minutes with a plastic bag in her hands. Here you go. The bag was full of buns and a few packs of kefir in it. But why? Well, 'cause it's brave and cool. She smiled slyly. Best regards to Slavia. Oyana waved goodbye and ran away. I stood there for some time in confusion, and I just went back to the forest. Okay. We're even, Oyana. We're even. I was completely unlike Oyana, but frankly speaking, I was thankful to her. In the end, I couldn't get food by myself during the day without getting myself into trouble. Upon getting back to the glade, I found Slavia sitting in the sleeping bag in the exact same pose. Weird. Here. I gave the bag to her. You got it so fast, she said excitedly. Well, I found help. Slavia gave me a questioning look, but I didn't go into details. We ate busily and without saying a word. I sighed with satisfaction in the end. Good. Really good. Yeah, agreed Slavia. What are we going to do now? Maybe you have any suggestions. About what? About how to deal with the camp leader? I don't know. Are you sure? Yes, I am. I interrupted her. This is an act of protest, after all. She must be aware that she can't order me... I stuttered. Order us around. I feel like I said something stupid. Even if I was indeed Olga's errand boy, Slavia was... You're funny. She gave me a cute smile. We could just go and talk with her. But if you want to sit here and wait, I'm fine with it. I tried to talk to her. Are you sure you did it the right way? What is the right way? To be honest, I don't really know the answer. Such awkward talks were always something of an insurmountable task for me. I bet if I knew how to deal with such cases, things would go another way. Of course, since I was afraid of blaming myself, there's no chance to be confident. I don't know. Slavia burst into laughter. What? Nothing. I just feel like a princess who was saved from an evil witch's castle by Prince Charming. I looked at her carefully. While all this sounded quite romantic, I thought that, what Slavia had just said was absolute nonsense. But generally, Olga was an evil witch. Ooh, it does make some sense. Yeah, the similarity is definitely there. I said it, spelling out every word. And princesses are given no choice in such cases usually. Slavia continued in a cryptic tone. Given no choice? Oh, that's impossible. It's me who has no choice here. Just sit and wait until I get back to my reality by some miraculous chance. Does Slavia have anything in common with me? She's a role model pioneer, hardworking, beautiful. She has hundreds if not thousands of options. Well, probably this is the moment I've been dreaming about all my life. Just an unreachable girl, Slavia, not only sitting next to me, speaking and laughing, but completely depending on me. But is it a good or a bad thing? And what should I do next? There are more questions than answers. Well, it's hard enough to make a decision about my own life and take responsibility for my own actions, but how could I do that for the both of us? Before now, I kept myself distanced from such problems in the hopes of everything resolving on its own without my input. But I couldn't act that way now. And not even because of the fact that heaven knows only where and in what time I was. You know, I could be wrong. Slavia looked at me inquiringly. We won't achieve anything, indeed, by just sitting here. Not just that, it's stupid and childish, you were right. And what should we do then? I guess let's go. We got up, took the sleeping bag, and headed to camp, holding Slavia by the hands. Soon we came to the square where Olga was standing as if she was waiting for us. Long time no see, she said angrily. Do you have something to say to excuse yourself? I have nothing to justify myself for. We have no reason to justify ourselves. Okay, so the difference is whether I'm dragging Slavia along with me. I'm still a bit perturbed by the whole fact that she just... I will do as you say. I will do as you say. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, and it really... Actually, that really bothers me. Not only does it make me wonder about Slavia, there's clearly something about her that's off from the impression she's trying to give, or the game is trying to give for her. But I can't... I have to speak for myself, don't I? I replied calmly. Oh, really? Okay then, so you think all of this is normal. Fine. She paused for a few moments and turned to Slavia. Go to your cabin. I understand that you're not the one to blame. Slavia didn't move an inch. She just lowered her eyes and held my hand more tightly. Slavia! As you can see, she doesn't want to. What did you say to seduce her? Oh my god, I said nothing. I started losing my cool. Why do you think we've done something wrong? We haven't done anything at all. As if I haven't seen it. She grinned. So what have you seen? What have you seen? She paused, but continued a second later in the same tone. I've seen enough. Wow, you are so good at drawing conclusions. Getting a job in the secret police. Stop with your rudeness. I didn't even think of starting it, I said sarcastically. Okay, your time is up and I'm not willing to continue this pointless argument. You're grounded till the end of the session. Bullshit, no. As if I'm gonna fucking listen to you. Oh, really? And how are you going to manage that? I'll lock you in the cabin. Oh, and what if I object? Olga gave me a surprised look. It was just now that I realized a crowd was gathering around us. I could spot Lena, Elisa, and Oyana in the crowd. What do you mean by object? Said the camp leader slowly. I meant exactly what I said. But you can't, a true pioneer. Well, that just means I'm a false one. Olga paused as if she was pulling herself together. You think I can't force you? And how would you do that exactly? I laugh empathetically. Ignoring the various mystical forces that I was least concerned about right now, the camp leader indeed had absolutely no idea about enforcing anything. You know what? What? It looked like Olga already understood that she had lost, but still couldn't admit defeat because of her pride and her position of the eldest and wisest in the whole group. Komsomol was a youth division of the Communist Party. Young people who failed to join it were generally treated as outcasts in society. I'll send a report to your school. You won't be accepted to the Komsomol. You won't be able to join the party. I had no way to respond against such serious threats. Accept it, you have no choice anyway. Slavia, who had kept silent until now, intervened in the matter. Olga, why do you assume you're right from the start? Why is Semyon always to blame for everything? What's so special about what has happened? What have we done wrong? Are you even sure that what you are blaming us for? And what if anyone other than me was standing here? Would you act the same way? Slavia, you should know that. That's the point. I know everything. I know you. I know that Semyon hasn't done anything wrong. I know you were prejudiced against him without any clear reason, by the way, even though he is trying his best. Yes, it looks awkward at times, but I know he puts all his energy and his heart into it, and you're going to blame him just because he's the way he is? I was charmed by Slavia's monologue, listening to it without really getting whether she was praising me, declaring facts, or just stating her opinion, which is probably also prejudiced. I guess her exact words flew over me. Yeah, ignoring the whole thing about, treating me the way I am just because I'm the way I am? Is there something that I don't know, some impression I've given to everyone that makes me stand out so significantly that Olga would want to actually... Olga would actually want to pick on me and stuff? And make generalizations about me? That seems so odd. Just the melody of her voice was enough for me, hypnotized and carried me away from this sick woman in a stupid pioneer camp while calming and healing the wounds of my soul. Okay, I don't know what to do with you anymore. Olga calmed down a bit. Don't think I approve of your behavior. Oh, she turned away, sliced through the crowd and headed to her cabin. I expected a storm of applause like in American movies, but the crowd just started to dissolve quickly and the show came to its end. And Ilyana winked at me slyly. Thanks, Ilyana, we're even. Fine. Well, we kind of overdid it. I looked at Slavia, she was smiling. No, not at all. I'd be arguing with her until late at night and you nailed it right and clear. I wouldn't get the right words like that even if I had an entire week to think. Oh, come on. What? That's the simple truth. Not a trace of lies or flattery. She gazed into my eyes and burst out laughing. I just said the first thing that came to my mind, and this is how it turned out. Your first thought is the right one. That's how the saying goes. I guess it is. I just noticed that we were still holding each other by the hand. After feeling a bit awkward, I tried to pull my hand free, but Slavia didn't let me. That gave me the chills for a second. Where will we go? I had no desire to go back to my cabin. Strictly speaking, I didn't want to stay in the cabin at all. What would you say we return to the forest? And this actually might be a decent time to end for today. I assume I'm in the Slavia ending. I don't know if this has good ends, bad ends. I don't know exactly how it works. Whenever I get to the ending, the final ending, I'm going to go ahead and look back in some spoiler-free walkthrough and try to figure out exactly if it's doable to get a true ending relatively easily without a huge amount of extra work. I'll see what the requirements are, see if there is a true ending, or an equivalent. Some games have just like an ending that's like a true ending because it gives you a lot more answers. It's more related to the actual mysteries surrounding everything, even though they're not officially labeled true endings. But yeah, I'm going to do that. And other than that, have a good one. Drive safely.